Everybody, I want to talk to you about strippers. Or stripper. You know, this product. Products like it. What is a paint prep and why do I use it for almost every car that I wash? I just go back and forth. Hey everybody, Nick from Hawk Pro Detailing in Heber City, Utah. I love making these videos. If you are into these, I'm new-ish to YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'd love it. Leave a comment. I want to keep talking to you guys. But basically what I want to talk to you about today is paint prep. So Max, it's never too early to learn. This is a clay bar, and after we've used a clay bar to decontaminate the paint, we might use a paint prep to really strip all oils and waxes before we apply a ceramic coating or a sealant.
And what's that?
This is a paint prep. I've got a few of the more popular paint preps on the market right now. The hot one that everyone seems to talk about is Car Pro Eraser, Intensive Oil and Polish Cleaner. This is a product called Stripper from Americana Global. And then probably like your cheapest mainstream option that I found is Optimum Paint Prep. And the idea behind all of these is trying to remove all oils, wax, grease, anything from your paint so that you can really have the most pure surface before you apply a wax, a sealant, or a coating. You'll notice here on the Americana Stripper, they actually brand it, actually on this one, ceramic prep. So especially when people call me about ceramic coatings and they ask, you know, well, could I just do this myself? And part of it, I tell them, is the prep. I mean, 90% of a ceramic coating is the paint correction, decontaminating the paint, and also just prepping it correctly after you know, buff and polish or do that paint correction. Then you apply the ceramic coating. Now, we're not applying ceramic coatings or washing our car, right? This is a message to you sitting at home if you've got a car and a pressure washer and you want to do a nice job with your vehicle at home, or this is kind of a PSA to pro detailers out there, and not that I know everything, this is just kind of how I do it. Alright, so be patient with me as we go through this demonstration because what I'm trying to show you is how to wash your car the right way. What I really want to do when I'm breaking down a lot of the gunk on my car's paint is I want to hit it with some kind of all-purpose cleaner or degreaser. I guess some people call this a strip wash, but that's kind of the idea. Even on my maintenance washes, I'm not trying to go 10 steps above and beyond and go crazy with it, but I am trying to have results that I know work, right? How do you know how much wax or sealant is left on your paint? You can't see it. So what I'm trying to do is every time I touch a vehicle, as a professional or my own vehicle, I want to use the degreaser, the all-purpose cleaner, to kind of work a lot of the gunk off, wash it off, and then use the paint prep to make sure that the surface is totally clean before I apply my wax, sealant, or in some extreme cases, right, like the coating. Now watch Nick with his bucket because he doesn't have a hose. Here we go, we're rinsing it off. Beautiful. Okay. So, at least that's my first step, right? Now I'm gonna take my rinseless wash, 256-to-1, and I'll just work it over the panel. The great thing about the rinseless wash is it's got the polymers in there, right? So you're supposedly not gonna scratch the paint. The polymers, again, they trap the dirt in a little bubble or whatever the science says. They emulsify the dirt, and essentially what you're doing is, with those polymers, it's helping you not scratch your paint as you wash. So technically we've got a lot of the dirt broken off. You may be in a space where you want to give this hood a light clay. Just make sure it's nice and wet. And really gently with my Optimum clay towel here, I'll just rub it over a little bit, just to make sure that the surface is free of contaminants. If you're dealing with a really dirty car, you could clay in a different way, but you know, this is sort of for a maintenance wash. What I might do if I felt like the vehicle had embedded contaminants. Don't worry so much about the clay bar side of things, but that's just sort of like the next step that you could do. Alright, just for fun, let's do one final rinse, as if this were a hose. right? The idea is we're just trying to break down all the stuff, get a clean surface. And this is where your paint prep comes in. You can use Car Pro Eraser, which I really, really like. I don't know if it's the smell or what. Americana Stripper is great too. Let me just hit it with some Car Pro Eraser. And the idea is you're removing waxes, oils. This is kind of like your final step. So there's a reason why guys would use this in between polishing steps, right? Every step you want to work as clean as possible. If you're buffing the paint, if you're polishing the paint. But before I apply my sealant, right, my last step product, LSP, whatever, I want this to do a lot of the work for me. Combination of mild solvents dissolves and removes all the contaminants and leaves the paint squeaky clean. You're using a product like this to leave the paint squeaky clean. So I've got the Car Pro Eraser. It's been sitting on there for a couple of minutes, and instead of using my drying aid or my spray sealant right away as the car's wet, I'm just using the paint prep to give me that sense that whatever I put on here is going to have the best chance of sticking, is going to have the best chance of staying, right? So what I'm selling here is longevity. If you do this, right now this panel is squeaky, squeaky, squeaky clean. And if you want to let it sit there, you know, for a minute or whatever, I know guys who do that, and you just kind of, okay, let me just give it one last paint prep. Just gonna wipe it down with some paint prep. Obviously that's not the best drying technique. You want your towel folded so there's even pressure. I love this method with a big waffle weave, or you know, one of those like auto fiber dreadnought or those kind of towels. You know, the less pressure you're putting on your paint, the better when it comes to drying. That's where a lot of scratching is going to happen. Scratch-induced marring is the term that you hear in the industry all the time. So once this kind of dries down, you've got a squeaky clean panel. This has been paint prepped, right? We used an all-purpose cleaner degreaser, we used a rinseless wash, we rinsed it off multiple times, and now we've paint prepped it. Now you're ready for your spray sealant or your wax. I've got my last step product, my Hyper Seal, right? They say, I don't know, months of longevity. This is probably way too much product, right? With Optimum, less is more. But what we're doing here with applying this spray sealant on at the end after we've used the paint prep is there's nothing to interfere with the spray sealant. We've got virgin clear coat, and we're going to give the spray sealant the best chance of adhering to the paint and doing what the manufacturer says it's supposed to do. So I'm just going to really, really gently rub this in. I have a sense that I've used way too much product, so I think it's going to take some massaging to get this to do what it's supposed to do and to do it well. Also, it's kind of chilly out here, so the products aren't wanting to behave. But I hope you guys get a sense of, you know, I know that time is money as a detailer. I totally understand and get it, but it's not that much work as your car is wet after you've washed it, after you've clayed it, to just hit it with a paint prep, right? And let it sit there for 30 seconds, wipe it down. It's not that much extra work, it's not that much extra time. This is the right way to do it. There are more profitable ways, there are faster ways, but if you're like, how am I supposed to wash my car? Just be careful in direct sunlight. It's great in between polishing steps as well, and there are other brands out there certainly, but I have come to love just the peace of mind knowing that I've prepped the surface the right way and I'm delivering results for my customers. Let me know what you think. Is this too much? Is this crazy? Or, as I think, is it the right way to detail a car? Thanks for watching.